Why is it so damn hard to find a gay guy that will kick you hard in the balls for fun?
Anyone want to volunteer for this guy?
The same girlfriend had two big dogs, and since I'm super allergic to dogs, every time she wanted to sleep with me, I would go and pet the dog so hard that I would get a strong asthma attack, so that she would leave me alone and in peace.
Diabolical, actually poisoning himself so that he didn't have to sleep with women. You have to do the intro because of your accent. It's important.
Yeah. Ready? Welcome to the Out of Bounds podcast with Jake and Sam, where we talk about all things gay, sport, and culture. Let's get into it.
That was so great.
Is that good? I'm already recording, so I don't have to do it again. Nice.
Yeah, what if we never have
it.
to do that ever again?
You reckon use the same one every time?
Okay, we should definitely do some intros really quick, and because who the fuck are we,
Who the hell are we? Who are you? You're going to intro first, right? Tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
Yeah.
So, for context, me and Sam obviously know each other, but not on a really, really deep level. So I think this podcast is going to be quite nice over the next kind of period where you start to see our relationship form a little bit more as well. So we're kind of on this journey together of exploring each other. That sounds a bit weird, than it? Exploring each other. Exploring each other, our interests, sport, fitness, passion, and then obviously going to touch on quite a lot of our gay experiences as well.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, we really don't know each other that well, and we obviously have a lot of mutual friends. But I think it was really clear from our socials that we have a lot of the same, one, interests, but also two, motivations for being in the fitness space of, making sure that queer people feel like fitness and sport is accessible for them, and that, everyone deserves a place to kind of sweat and move their body. And so I think that what's interesting is that everything that we're going to be chatting about over the next few weeks and months, it's real organic. We don't really know much about each other at all.
Yeah,
I know that you have a partner. His name is Paul. Don't know how you met. I don't know. I know that you're a professional HYROX athlete and that you're really talented and really hardworking. And that's great. I'm excited to learn more.
Right, let's dig in. Come on, tell me.
Okay.
Go from we'll go into school and stuff later, won't we? So go from your Broadway to PT to now for everyone.
Yeah,
and
so
for me.
My name is Sam Leicht. I live in New York City with my husband Jared, our dog Meryl, and I've been there for about 10 years. I moved to New York to be an actor, and I did that for maybe my first 2.5, 3 years there. I did a show called The Lightning Thief on Broadway, and then the pandemic happened. And my survival job was never the waiting tables, because I did that and I was terrible at it. And I decided to do kind of the group coaching and personal training route as my quote unquote survival job. And then when the pandemic happened, I was doing all of the training for my husband and I, making all that programming. And I was like, well, let's just try and put this online and see if this is helpful for people. And that's kind of what launched my true career in fitness. I kind of decided that I wasn't going to do acting anymore, and I wanted to kind of go all into the fitness space. And it kind of organically became this really lovely queer community that was Pride Fit. And so Pride Fit has been around for about 5 years, and that's been the majority of my time. And throughout that, I very much consider myself kind of a amateur athlete. I really like training and I really like doing different sporting events, but by no means will I ever be a professional athlete, and I'm 100% okay with that. But I love fitness. I love sports. I love helping people learn how to move their body in a way that they enjoy, so that's kind of me. Your turn.
My go. My journey kind of starts with coming out. I know we're obviously going to touch on it, but I went to college or university. We're going to have some American English lingo.
Yeah,
just bear with us on that front. But yeah, I went to university, and basically all I wanted to do was play football and obviously studied a little bit on the side. But so soccer for Americans. Finished
What were you
uni.
studying?
I have a geography degree.
Geography.
Human geography, yeah.
Cool.
I didn't want to. It was like I was just good at it at school. I found it relatively like easy because it was kind of just like, I don't know, quite an organic subject to learn. It's around us all the time, so I just thought I'd go down that route rather than go down like a S&C, like sports business route, which a lot of people take who would probably be in my position. So I thought I'd go down that route and give myself a little bit of like a bit of an edge. And then I did
Yeah.
quite a lot of like CBD and PT modules on the side. Was then finished uni and tried to play football as kind of high level as possible over like a good couple of months after college, because I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. Worked a bar job, was in that football environment, obviously knew I was gay, but then COVID happened and I was like, and then literally as COVID happened, I met my partner, Paul. So that was kind of like the weirdest period for me. It was like a 6 month kind of like, we didn't really meet up. We just FaceTimed and chatted. And then I came out. And then I had like a 2 year period where I wasn't comfortable enough to talk about it. Like I was just in my own little world. So I worked a sales job. So I actually worked for a medical company. I'm actually using their desk and laptop screen, or like computer monitor screen, as we speak, because I used to have to go on and deliver like presentations to doctors about kind of like indemnity, which is kind of like where you go if you get in trouble. So not kind of like legal, but like a weird kind of like support, basically, to then help you out through any kind of legal proceedings. I actually chose that because I used to be petrified of public speaking. Like genuinely, I had a friend that, through the geography degree, we used to have to do presentations, and I would go to him and cry before I would present. And I was like, I need to conquer this. I need to conquer this fear. So I actually got 2 job offers on the same day, and one was like probably a better job, but this one was like, you have to public speak, you have to go and present. And I was like, right, let's just take this head on, because I was just like, I can't have this be a thing in my life that kind of overwhelms me over like the next 10 to 15 years. So I was like, right, do it. So I got that job, and then after 18 months started working for a lighting manufacturer, and then in 6 months time I then got made redundant. I actually found out that like this company did this to everyone, like after 6 months just made them redundant on this like sales programs. Like I don't know how it benefits them. I assume it's probably like a tax thing or something, but like everyone got made redundant, so it wasn't me. I was actually pretty good at my job.
Yeah.
And then literally as that kind of came to a close, I was like, right, let's just go back into the world of fitness and sport, because that's what you love. I'd kind of gone down this path, and it was kind of like an easy path, and I was just following the kind of 9 till 5 realm, and I was like, that's not what you want to do. So went back into the world of sport, and then I got a lot more comfortable with my sexuality, and that's where the two kind of bits similar to you, really, like those pillars kind of crossed, and I was like, and then obviously HYROX was another X marks the spot, and because of all the years of training and things, I just kind of went down that route. And now after another 2 years, I'm now kind of like, I guess like a sport advocate for gay men within all sports, but not primarily kind of like those where it's a little bit more masculine, maybe. So like football, HYROX now, obviously, where there's still quite a huge element of taboo and people, I mean, still the numbers of people that are kind of openly gay is kind of scary. So that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve, totally. and be a professional athlete and tick off that dream. HYROX kind of allowed me to do that in a weird way. So
yeah, it's so cool. And I guess I don't like normally see football players as the world's best runners, but you're exceptional at running, which I feel like has lent itself really well to HYROX. Like, what were you also running when you were doing
So I ran
football?
A lot when I was a kid, and the only reason I was actually good at football was because I could run.
I felt the same way in soccer.
I would go to like preseason, and like I wasn't playing pro. It was like this. It's like this weird like semi-pro kind of environment where everyone thinks they're amazing and like they're all right, but we weren't actually that good in the grand scheme of things. But because I could run really fast and like really well, I'd go to any preseason, and the team managers and captains would be like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then I kind of got a bit of a name for myself and being like, Jake's the runner. So then you obviously just play centre mid, and you can just do all the doggy work and work hard for your teammates who can just kind of chill out a bit, and then they're a bit more fresh for when they do have the ball. So an under appreciated position, I think, and player.
100%. I mean, I'm not saying this was you, but for myself, I had terrible ball skills. And I made up for a shit ton with being the most like athletic endurance
Yeah.
wise, you know, like just being able to run far and run fast. It's like, yeah, that goes a long way in soccer, at least in high school. I feel like after that is when it kind of evens out a little bit. But
A little bit, and then I started hitting the gym a lot to complement the football or soccer side of things, and then spent 3 years in the closet just training 3 times a day because I was depressed and didn't want to tell anyone that I was gay. So I just trained my life away.
I can't wait to dive into that because I'm so interested in what those years look like in the closet because I was having so much sex during that time. And like, what are you doing if you're
See,
not? You know, like
mine was the opposite. I was just trying to have sex with, as in with girls or with guys.
with guys because
Yeah,
I
I was
wasn't
just.
in the closet.
Oh, you weren't. Yeah. See, I was just trying to sleep with girls, and I guess it was an element of trying to conversion therapy myself into, into straight
Oh yeah.
realms. Oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be deciding as we go how the podcast format is going to be working, but our idea right now is that we've got a bunch of different ideas for segments. That we're going to be asking for audience questions. We're going to be asking for audience stories. We're also going to be, you know, looking at queer news and chatting about that, bringing on different queer athletes that we're really excited about. So there's going to be a lot of different opportunities for
There's
us
a
to
lot
kind
to
of,
talk about, isn't there?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we could easily sit here for 3 hours right now and just chat, but
I mean, maybe we will.
we will try and have some form of format segments in which you can kind of get involved with and be a part of as well. Because as I said at the beginning, like we're going through this conversation and journey, and we want people to be a part of it and share theirs, which they already have. But firstly, Sam, will you share your coming out story with us?
For sure. I guess I should have thought about this before. I came out when I was 18. We had just graduated high school. And so I was telling all my girlfriends individually, very dramatic. One of my girlfriends, my actual ex-girlfriend, uh, I couldn't tell her. And so I probably waited like an hour of me like trying to say something to her and I just couldn't say it. She thought I had cancer. It was not, it wasn't fair to her. But I eventually told my sisters on the night of my graduation party, and they were all so excited for me. They were really happy and supportive, and all my friends were super supportive. But I wasn't quite ready to tell my mom and dad, even though my mom absolutely knew. And my mom was so upset that I told my sisters without telling her that the next day she kind of like cornered me on the stairs and she's like, "Do you have something you want to tell me?" And I was like, "No, I fucking don't." And then I just like, I go away.
In the
It's so
gayest.
unlike my mom. I know, like, fuck you. I'm out of it. And it's so unlike my mom to kind of like really be that confrontational. Um, and it was, I mean, I think that she just felt a little left out because she knew one of my other sisters told her that or that I
Had the
told them.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So ultimately, a very, very good conversation with everyone. And I was going to school for music theater in like a month after that. And everyone in my music theater class, so it's like 20 people, uh, was more okay with me being gay than I was. So I can't really think about an easier transition into a queer
That's
lifestyle
quite a
than like
nice environment to go into, right? Like,
100%.
if they're probably more, yeah, they're more comfortable than you are. So it then allows you to kind of be safe and feel like you can have those conversations.
And like my professors were gay or they worked with hundreds or thousands of gay students before me. You know, it just was, I felt like a very, very lovely way to kind of ease my way into a queer lifestyle. So I was really lucky. What about you?
Mine wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Mine was tough, man. Like I look back on it and I put like a, I don't know what the right word is, like silver coating or whatever. Like I kind of play it off as kind of blasé, but like it was a really difficult period. Like I knew when I was 14, 15, it was pretty easy for me to hide it because I was always had like any like sexual was attraction was always older guys. So at school it was almost as if I was like asexual. So like the
Yeah.
guys and girls were just exactly just the same to me. Like I wasn't interested. So like it was super easy for me to just be like so far denial that I was like, oh, maybe this is just what everyone feels like with girls. Like at the end of the day, I was 16, 17, 18. up to 21, where it's body touch and like you're pretty horny anyway. So like I could just like do the act of obviously having sex, but um, so yeah, I had girlfriends from like, and they were always like not long distance, but kind of like not in the school or like, oh yeah, and I like subliminally, it must have been at the time. It wasn't like it wasn't a choice. I wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick that person because of it. Like, but looking back, you're like, okay, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Like, you didn't have to be with them all day every day. You'd meet them once or twice after school, and then if you did have any kind of opportunity for physical and sexual stuff, it's like you're going to be at your parents' house, so you're going to need permission. The door's probably going to have to be open. Like
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
those things that you don't even like. I'm just kind of saying this now. Like I've not thought about this prior to this conversation. So,
Right.
yeah, like that alone was kind of like another thing. And then because of the environments that I was in, being football, and just kind of like not feeling like I could possibly be gay, I was just like, there's no way. So like the denial and just threw it to the back of my mind completely. And then and yeah, until I was 21, I met Paul on Tinder, and then we FaceTimed for a bit, and then it was COVID, so the only thing you could do was exercise.
Yeah.
Like pairs. I don't know what the rules were in America, but it was like for us, it was like you can have 30 minutes of exercise a day. So Paul works in cricket, so we would either play golf or go and play cricket,
Yeah.
or just like go for a walk. But we had a 2-hour drive, so we would have to either meet halfway or Paul would do the driving. And a quite a good story is my parents were like, "Oh, where are you going?" And I'd leave at like 6 a.m. Be like, "Oh, I'm just going to go play golf with Ed." And Ed's one of my best mates.
Yeah.
And he was my scapegoat. At one point, the car, because I shared a car with my mum at the time, and they were like, "Why is the mileage like gone up 2,000 miles?" I was like, "I don't know."
I actually did a similar thing when I first came out. I met someone on the internet who was 10 years older than me, and I was driving to Minneapolis, which is like a 3.5 hour drive from where I grew up in Wisconsin. And it was the same thing where it's like the parents are asking, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "Just to a friend's house for the day, maybe gonna stay there tonight." And I'm sure that they knew, but my parents just like didn't ask questions ever. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, I feel very similarly
Yeah.
about this.
So yeah, I'm sure there's other kind of like funny stories and things, but yeah, and then I was still in kind of in denial at this point, and then I remember me and Paul went for a walk, and I just held his hand, like purely just held his hand, and I was like, holy shit,
Holy
I'm
shit.
gay.
Yeah.
This
Wait,
is
so
it.
I'm so interested in you changing your Tinder
Yeah,
preferences to
yeah,
not being the
yeah.
moment when you're like, I'm gay. It wasn't that.
So I obviously knew it was just like I was so scared to even have like physical contact or
Yeah.
go to a gay bar or like I've got like a Tinder story where it went like viral on a podcast once where it's like I used to go on. My main settings would be obviously the females, and then when I would go in, I'd be like at night time, like 10 o'clock at night. I'd delete all my pictures, and then I would go onto the men's section, and I would like who I liked. I'd go like age range like 29 to like 50 something probably,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and then max distance, and then just go through and be like,
Yeah, totally. Totally.
and then I'd go back on to females, add my photos back, and then whoever I liked, somehow I realized that the algorithm then kept my pictures up for them because I'd obviously like already liked them.
Yeah.
So then that's how I would match with people on Tinder, and then I'd be too scared, so I'd just like Snapchat them for a week and then block them.
Shit. Sometimes you just do what you got to do,
I had some urges, all right. I had to get rid of them.
It's good. It's good. But was you holding hands with Paul your first intimate moment with a man ever?
Other than like not intimate, but like just like in the changing rooms, and I'd look at someone and be like, "Ooh."
Sure.
But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, but like
yeah,
actual like
yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. Okay, so we asked people what their
Okay,
in the
yeah, nice.
closet stories are, and I feel like You should start, or maybe we'll go back and
I
forth
feel
because
like this probably indicates the kind of relationship we have with our audience, because
yeah.
mine are so serious. Not that bad, to be fair.
Wait,
I'm not gonna.
serious in
No,
what way?
as in like just like funny, like good stories.
I will say I got
Um,
a lot of really sad ones of like people outing each other, and I was like, yo, I was
yeah, I
hoping
can't
that
read
this would
that.
be light. I should have been clearer.
Okay, this one was actually from a friend of mine, and he put I was sucking off my rugby coach, which is at school,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they threatened to out me, so I had to smash his head off his steering wheel and escape his car, which was 20 miles from the nearest house, which then got me a 20-mile PB.
Jesus.
I,
Tough,
my
tough.
question would be, and I've not spoken to him since the message. I just he sent me another one as well. But my question would be: surely the rugby coach can't out you if you're if surely he would get arrested.
Yeah, yeah, right. It
But
seems
maybe it
like,
was after.
or maybe he was just like trying to freak the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, I don't know. That seems crazy.
Um, this is quite a good one from a football perspective, and something that I probably did. I had a computer in my room. The way the bedroom door opened, you could see the computer screen. So I made the screen a topless lady to match my Chelsea FC bedroom.
I mean, incredible, incredible.
Oh, the things that we did, eh?
You won't understand this one, but plenty of our listeners will, I think. I had someone say campaigned for Paul Ryan, who's a super conservative politician in the US, which is just so funny. You know, like,
Nice.
really? You campaigned for him just to prove that you weren't gay? Like,
The extremes.
very good.
There's a at school. This is from a girl. At school, I dated so many boys to try and convince myself and everyone else that I wasn't a lesbian. That I got the reputation of being a door handle, something that everybody turns. But in fact, I was a raging lesbian.
I feel like I would not be surprised by how many women would have that narrative, you know?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I would load my iPod with music that I actually liked, like Celine Dion, Britney Spears, and then delete the songs before going to school and then repeat until I just finally came out.
That is such an extreme.
It's such an
That's
extreme. Do you
dedication.
remember the process of having to delete shit from your iPod and like add it back on? It's complicated.
Do you go on LimeWire? Just illegally
Wait,
stream it.
I kind of said that and then I was like, did you ever have an iPod?
I'm not that young. I'm only 3 years younger than you.
I know, but sometimes I'm just like I was surprised that you knew what LimeWire was.
This is a two-parter. I was living at my parents' house with my two brothers, and we were sharing one floor. So I had no better idea than to take out all of the doors on the floor and tell my girlfriend that we would have to get new doors installed, and that's why we couldn't have sex
This
because
is
my
you.
brother.
You didn't
Because my
even know
brother
that
would
this
hear
one was
us
actually just like you. You're like, I'd bring my girlfriend home and
and open the
I would say to
doors.
my parents, you don't want us to sleep in the same bed,
No,
right?
no.
Like,
Okay,
yeah.
the second part is the same girlfriend had two big dogs, and since I'm super allergic to dogs, every time she wanted to sleep with me, I would go and pet the dog so hard that I would get a strong asthma attack, so that she would leave me alone and in peace.
Diabolical, actually poisoning himself so that he didn't
What's,
have to sleep with women. Yeah,
what's worse? What's worse, death by allergy or having
totally.
to sleep with a female?
Yeah, right, right.
Oh, that's
I feel like
funny.
this one's really common. Outside of actually dating girls, I would look at a bunch of straight porn after gay porn in case anyone ever looked at my browser history. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that you're deleting the gay porn history anyway, but I
I've got
get
a
it.
similar one, which is actually like kind of something that happened to me, but also didn't because. But yeah, I'll read it. It says, "We got the internet. My dad told me not to go on any sites I shouldn't, as he can see what I would be looking at. That's when I started to learn about browsing history. He asked me the next day if I liked boys or girls. I said I didn't know, maybe both, and he said it didn't matter either way. He never mentioned it again. Didn't ask questions when I had a girlfriend. Never questioned when I had a boyfriend. Just accepted it. Not the ideal way to let your parents know, but at least it was done. Quite a nice thing though. But I remember my parents being like, "We can see what you're looking at."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, well, they must fucking know that I'm gay then." And then when I told them, obviously they didn't know, and I was like, "You lied to me this whole time. I thought you knew."
Yeah, right. This is so early to put this on a podcast, but if you ever meet my mom, you're gonna be like, you are so like soft spoken and sweet and like, and she's a little like, she's gonna snake her way into things, you know? And so I didn't know that she had access to my Facebook. And I have no idea to this day. I'm almost sure that that is how she actually found out that I was gay. I am in the same boat of like, I'm pretty sure that she knew because she saw me messaging boys a lot. I'm pretty sure. That's something we should get into someday. Not on this podcast, but in a future podcast. The idea of like, how much should parents be censoring
Yeah,
or like watching what their kids are doing online, you know?
I think it depends on the age, doesn't it? Invasion of
Totally.
privacy.
Totally.
Yeah, I think we can save some for next week. Uh, there was a few funny ones, but the list is so long. But yeah, a lot of things were like where people get. I don't know what's a better situation in terms of like being outed or doing it yourself. I guess you have control of it when you do it yourself, but then at least like someone's ripping the band-aid off.
Yeah,
But there's some people that use it as like a threat. I remember
100%.
I was on holiday once and I did my Tinder trick and I matched with some guy and then we were like sexting and like sending videos and stuff. And then he basically like, I can't remember what happened, but I think he wanted to meet up and I was like, no, thanks. And he was like, oh, and then like basically was like, oh, I'm going to tell all of your friends. I can see them all on your Instagram and stuff. I'm going to tell them all that you're gay and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, block, delete, delete.
Yeah, totally.
He still blocked on my account as well. So I think one day I might unblock him and be like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Wait, we should do that on the podcast.
Shall we? And call him.
That'd be so great.
He's probably dead now, knowing me. He was probably like
Yeah,
70.
it's so. Oh my God. Yeah. People are so shitty. I feel like when people are especially like, well, I can't even say it for you. I was gonna say I've had experiences with like young guys, like when I was coming out who are my age, who would be shitty like that. Because I think people are just like so scared, you know.
Yeah.
But apparently yours was not your age when that happened. So.
Well, clearly not.
Okay.
That's funny.
We'll save some of these for next week. But okay, I want to know really quick. What are you most self-conscious about at the gym?
Probably not a lot, to be honest, because of.
Oh, you fucking suck.
Yeah, for me, it just I'm the opposite. Like I have the insecurities elsewhere, but it just became. It's literally my place. Like that's where I would go when I was struggling. Like when I'm quite blessed that like when I was growing up, I always had it. I used to work at like a school gym that was only open like certain hours and it was always really quiet. So like it was never like a busy gym. So I'd never go in and be like, oh my God, there's a load of people here all using different equipment. I have to then go up and say, oh, can I use this or can I use this? So I was very blessed in that front that all the gym experiences that I've ever had, because I then, when I obviously got older, was like, right, I'm only really going to go to like quieter gyms. But yeah, it just became a place where in that period of like 3 years where I was really struggling with like coming out and sexuality and stuff, that's the place where I lent on the most. So yeah, I guess like from an insecurity point of view, probably not a lot, to be honest, but I can obviously empathize and see why people have.
Okay, let me be a little bit more specific with the question then. How about like you're training with a bunch of professional athletes and you're having to do like one thing there that you're like, fuck, this is my least favorite thing to have to do. Like for me, like I'm a very weak deadlifter. I would not want to deadlift with like the world's best deadlifters by any means, you know, like that kind of thing.
Probably back squat, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or like just any form of mobility, like something that requires like actual like good movement pattern. Because everything that obviously I do try and work on it, and I I'm pretty good, but like yeah, anything that requires actually like good form in terms of strength and depth.
Yeah, you're doing your pliability every day, right?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Best app ever.
Exactly.
I'm actually about to film some. I was on a call with the team yesterday, and I'm going to film some of the in-app stuff for the Blind. And I was like, guys, I can't film this.
It's
I
good.
can't,
It's
I
good.
can't hold these positions for 2 minutes. So yeah, that's going to be a fun day of filming when we get that done.
No, you'll be nice and limber. It'll be great. Great.
What about you? What's your
I mean, I just think it's crazy to me that I've been in gyms my entire life and I still don't necessarily feel comfortable walking into them. I feel like every time that I'm walking into the gym, I have something to prove and that I don't deserve to
is
be
that a
there.
queer thing or just a human thing?
I think it's a queer thing. I think it's that, like, I feel like I don't deserve to be with all these straight guys who are super strong if I can't keep up. And so I've always felt like in order for me to um, earn my spot there, I had to prove it through athletic performance, which I think is what has made me want to train hard
Mm.
and want to continue to get better. Because even when I did track and soccer and doing CrossFit, I've always felt like my way in of being accepted was by being a good athlete
Yeah.
because, you know, like your scores are not going to lie. Um, and
I
so I
think
think that's
it's
always just
it's
been like a lot of
it's
pressure.
down to society in a way as well, though, isn't it? Like if you're good at sport, you're going to be accepted in some
You
capacity.
can do whatever the fuck you want, you know? Like,
It's kind of like an unwritten rule, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
where
totally.
like if you're good at soccer or you're good at like a lot of like stars, and I'm obviously within a bubble of like my whole life is I love watching sports, so I do idolize these people, and like it's like the best no matter what. It's like there's an element of respect because you can't get to that position without working hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Two, I guess there's an element of probably kind of I don't know whether it is like a straight thing, but like if you look at most male sports, there is an obviously there, I would say depending on the sport, there's probably like a heavy dominance of white straight males,
yeah.
which tend to be idolized as well. So there's a lot of kind of like things that you don't necessarily process or think about where it's like okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Um,
When I went on tour for the Lightning Thief, I dropped into something like 100 gyms around the United States. And every gym, I would walk in with my little booty shorts and a tank top. Depending upon the state that I was in, whether if I was in like Wyoming or Iowa or, you know, Missouri, it would be like a cold reception. You know, they're like, yeah, you can drop in here, but like, we're not going to like make small talk
Speak
with
to
you or
you,
like
yeah.
chat or like, you know, like and I was always interested in chatting with them because I just love learning more about different CrossFit gyms and like how different people
Mm.
around the world are moving their
But it's a
bodies.
shame that you then have to suppress that to fit into their norm, isn't
But
it? Like,
I mean, as soon as I would start working out, that was the bridge. They would start yapping with me
yeah.
all the time. The gab was like completely there, but I had to prove it first. I had to prove that I deserved to be there.
But I think that's why I don't ever feel like I get exposed to much homophobia
Yeah,
because
totally.
I fit
You're a good
in.
athlete.
Like I fit
Yeah.
in. Like if I because
Yep.
I wouldn't necessarily wear like the booty shorts and tank top either. So when I do walk into those places, it's like straight white guy
Yeah, totally. Totally.
until I open my mouth.
Well, I think that you should be wearing the booty shorts. It's
I mean,
bullshit.
sometimes.
It just, I think that what it highlighted for me though was it pissed me off that there are millions of queer people around the world who should not have to like prove their athletic prowess in order to be accepted at the gym. It's a crazy thing to expect, you know? And so that is a lot of the reason why I wanted to kind of have this as a mission, like to
Mm.
make fitness a little bit more accessible. So,
I think there's two folds to it. I think there's like a perception, like you look at CrossFit or HYROX now, and you think cult, like it's like an easy thing to just be like, yeah, it's a cult.
totally,
It's like
totally.
they won't accept you if you're not good, for example.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and that's like a internal dialogue that you have with yourself. Whereas from my experience, if you do go to a CrossFit box, which are the gyms that I tend to go to because it's more like community orientated and focused. Whereas if you go to like a pure gym, you're not going to have that same level
people
of
don't talk to each
human
other.
interaction. No, you're just
No.
there to work out and get out. So you're just there for like a body hypertrophy session and then you leave.
Yep, yep.
Whereas these like box type gyms is they have such a scary external, like you have to be good to come here. When in my opinion the reality isn't the case with 99.9% of it.
Agreed.
So I think it's like how do we start to disassociate everyone's kind of opinions and things with that, and allow people to go and expose themselves to the methodology of CrossFit, because it would change your life. Like if you
100%.
if you are just like a general population, you're not that fit, you don't really do much training, you don't really know what's going on with your diet, sort of thing, and you're kind of just going about and you're like, I really want to get into training, I want to start running, I want to start doing this. Like if you can step into a CrossFit box, I guarantee you, if you dedicate yourself for 6 months, your whole life will change.
I agree 100%. But I think that this change actually starts from the top down. I think that the reason why this stigma around CrossFit has been perpetuated for so long is because of an inability for CrossFit HQ to be able to take back the narrative and say to CrossFit boxes, hey, this is not an exclusive place. Also, this is not a political place. The fact that the training methodology was created on military, police, firefighter background, I think kind of has done a little bit of a disservice to the community. That is so shitty, because I agree with you that CrossFit methodology would be world saving in terms of our health, and it is so politicized, and so overly politicized to the point where like I don't feel proud of being a CrossFitter anymore, even though this has been 13,
I think
15 years of my life.
The brand, in my head, there's like the brand and then the sport.
Yeah.
And I think the brand is the disservice, and the sport is just like everything you can kind of, you're moving well, depending on your movement patterns, but you're moving well, you're lifting heavy, you're doing some element of cardiovascular, like whether you call it CrossFit or HYROX or hybrid training, like that element of training is going to make you a fitter, healthier, happier human being. Is
Totally,
kind of
totally.
is what is the message I want to get to people. And you might have to try 1 or 2 different CrossFit boxes, but
yeah, they're not all made equal. For sure,
there will be a space for you. And it's like, if you have to travel half an hour, go and travel half an hour. Like, I know not everyone has that ease of time, but it's like, if you can put yourself first in those situations, then everything else will then benefit off the back of that as well.
I will say that everyone's always like worried about getting injured in CrossFit. My body has been rocked by HYROX. Like doing the movements in running shoes, I think hurts my knees. I don't like it, like, and it just means that I'm having to do so much more accessory work to try and like really strengthen my knees, because I'm not stable on the ground all the time.
It's a volume thing. You have to increase your volume. Like you have to increase the running mileage. And if you're not used to that, and then you suddenly start running 30K, 40K a week, your joints.
But then you're adding in like these like unstable wall balls, these unstable lunges, like I think that's a lot that I'm just used to a flat shoe. I use flat shoes all the time in the gym.
Carbon plates.
Yeah, the carbon plates, they're crazy. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Next segment. You should introduce this one because you came up with the name of it.
Audience LGBTQIA.
Yeah, love it. It's great.
So do a jingle. Welcome to the Audience LGBTQIA with Sam and Jake.
That's great. Loved it. Okay, I've got a good one to start with, I think. Has the attitude toward body hair changed? It seems like we're past the everything's smooth.
I like a bit of hair.
I think so too. I do think this is just very much personal preference. I have no idea if the gay culture as a whole has shifted in this.
I think there's a bit too much. I think there's a bit too much kind of like, as you say, like a gay culture thing. It's like, it's whatever you like. Like if you like it, then go get it. If not, then just, do you know what I mean?
I completely agree. Also, I will just say that like so much of body hair to me is like a convenience thing. Like I don't really give that much of a shit about like what it looks like.
I don't really like touch mine.
I would rather die than have to shave my chest, and that's why I don't. Like I don't want to do the upkeep.
I get this weird little like neck crater.
Yeah, it's cute.
I'm not hairy at all, but my chest is quite hairy.
Maybe it has changed a little bit, hopefully, toward this idea of like doing what you want to do rather than like feeling like there's a standard for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of these questions will probably be my answer, to be honest.
Okay, your turn.
No question, but I was a captain of a football team and blew 4 of my teammates. Right.
It's a good percentage.
That's a pretty good percentage. Yeah.
Like, how many people are on a team? Almost, I would say like almost 30%,
I guess it's a question for me, and it says, does it feel a burden to be one of the few gay reps in sport? Obviously for you as well, but I think it's from like an athlete perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a burden. Like I genuinely like I feel proud. Like talk even like 5 years ago, I was literally at a point where I couldn't even have a conversation or say the words. So to now be in a place where I can kind of represent that and allow someone to feel, even if it's one person, like to feel comfortable coming out and being in sport, whether it's HYROX, whether it's football, whether it's cricket, whether it's diving, like whatever sport, and not even just sport, but life in general, then like I don't see it as a burden at all. Like sometimes just in life being gay can be quite difficult, or like even last night me and Paul went to a gig, and there was couples kind of like holding each other and dancing and stuff. And then I thought to myself, it's like, why aren't we doing that? And then you just have this kind of like thing in your head where people are going to judge you for doing it. And then by the end of the night, we were holding each other and like dancing to the final song sort of thing. And it's like I shouldn't even have to think about that, but it comes into your head, and I hate
100%.
myself for it so much. Like I was sitting there and I was like getting hot and flustered thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like I really wish I didn't have this kind of systemed kind of mindset where it's like just hold his hand or just hug him or just dance with him. So like I know there's even more work in my own brain and my own mind to be done. Like I guess it's not an internalized homophobia in a way, because but it's like I'm projecting other people's like potential views and opinions on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like when I think about stuff like that last night, and it's not even within sport, I think it's just in society. I just hope that by me being a little bit more vocal and verbal about being gay and within sport, it can just make a bit of a difference. So no, in terms of a question, I don't feel a burden. But
Do you feel like there is a level of success that you get to in sport where there's an obligation to come out publicly?
I think once you become comfortable enough in your own sexuality, then I think there's a huge opportunity for you to make a difference. I don't want to put
Not an
any pressure.
obligation.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should be pressured into doing it, because it's obviously there's a lot, and if you're already in a bigger sport than obviously what I am, like if you come out in the world of soccer, like you are going to be up to your eyeballs in press. There's a guy who came out in cricket, and I think he still plays, but he doesn't really talk about it, or like I think he did like a podcast or two, and then since then I don't think he talks about it at all. So like I think it's nice sometimes to be able to do it like that in like incognito, and just kind of be like, yeah, and what, this is my boyfriend, whatever. But it's not going to be
Yeah.
like that. So that's where the pressure comes in. But you do have an opportunity to change a lot of people's lives and perceptions. So
Yeah.
I think
I think it's a good answer. Good answer.
thanks. Political answer.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a little bit deeper into that in a future podcast episode. There's a lot of stuff about gay body standards. I feel like we should jump into that in a further podcast episode as well, because I think it's a longer conversation, you know.
I think,
But
yeah, I think maybe even have people put their ideas, or have someone come on and talk about it. There must be body experts and things as well.
yeah,
There's a few bits on here about religion. On mine.
I don't have any on religion, but I'm very interested in talking about religion. Again, maybe not in this episode, but
Why is it so damn hard to find a gay guy that will kick you hard in the balls for fun?
anyone
I
want
don't
to
know,
volunteer
man.
for this guy?
Anyone
I
want
don't
to
know.
volunteer?
Anyone want? Ask him where he's from, and then we can maybe set him
I'm
up
not
with
gonna
some
open
people.
up. I'm not gonna open up that can of worms.
Whatever. You know, you're part of the problem. This is why it's so hard. No one wants to engage.
I'm okay, thank you. If the offer was for me, then I'm alright.
The relationship with the locker room is so complicated with my team being all straight men. It's not really a question, but that is
It's a
interesting.
topic.
Yeah, yeah.
We've spoken about it a little bit. Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's like I always remember when I was like playing in the senior teams when I was younger, and it'd be like you have to shower. You'd almost get like a fine if you didn't shower. Like there'd be certain like rules in place, and and then I'd be like, if I don't shower, they'll think I'm gay. If I do shower, what if I get a boner? And if
But that never happened, right? You never got a boner in the shower.
No, but just no, probably because I was
I was
my
scared
heart
of
rate
it.
was through like
Yeah, right. I was terrified.
and I'm like not saying that, but like it was just like those are just the thoughts. Like I'm not saying, oh, if
Yeah.
I shower with a man, I'm gonna get a boner. Like you're like oh, so then it just kind of becomes like this whole thing. But I think like the best thing you can do is, and I guess if there's a pressure to shower, then obviously you might need to pay the fine. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, to be honest.
Maintain eye
You
contact,
gotta find, yeah,
or
yeah,
just look at everyone's
or
dicks.
just hold their cocks.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, do you need me to get into areas
You need
you
help.
can't?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had the same thing. We had track practice before school, and all of the football guys would shower after. But there was like a good enough group of non-football
That
guys who
didn't.
wouldn't. It was only the football guys who would shower. And I think that the part of it that made me so anxious was that they would talk about each other's dicks all the time. They were obsessed with it. Like with either saying that someone's dick was so small or saying that someone's dick was so big. And you're like, I don't even, how are we having this conversation right now? I'm so, that was my outing right there.
Maybe
How
that's like
red
so
my
gay that
face
it's
got
straight
when,
though. It's like so gay that it's straight.
no, they're like proving that they're straight by their ability to talk about dicks so casually. It didn't work for me. Any other questions you want to put on here?
Let me
We're
just
an
have a quick.
inclusive podcast.
Let me just have a
Scissoring
quick
allowed.
looky. Hold your horses. Everyone says, how did you manage the showers? I have two questions.
Okay.
Well, the first one is the showers keeps coming up. How did you manage the showers? So that's obviously kind of like a key topic. And then the second one, where there's quite a few, is open relationships.
Yeah, you want to jump into that?
Where do you start?
I know.
It's,
I mean, it's kind of like the body hair thing. You kind of got to
I
let
know.
people do whatever's best for them.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It's like if it works for you and your partner, then just crack on. Like sex is fun, isn't it? Like just go and enjoy your life. I think the main thing is like I don't know, but it's like having like a just setting those boundaries and parameters. I think it's more common than it's not. No,
I agree with that.
in like
I also think that people ask this question all the time because there's a lot of insecurity around open relationships, whether they are like, okay, morally, I guess, or ethically, I don't really know. Um, but ultimately, I am very much of the mindset of as long as your relationship is honest and you're communicating with your partner and making decisions that is best for your relationship or what you believe to be best for your relationship, it's like, do what you want to do. Sounds great,
preach.
Also, a little bit
I
of a
don't have too
political
much to add
answer
on
for
that. I think,
sure. Yeah.
but I do no, but I think that's right though. I think it's genuinely that's like I think it's from my understanding, it's more common than it isn't these days. Is it's like
I
men are
think that
horny human
what
beings, aren't
is
they?
totally. And I think that what is helpful is that even if your relationship is not open, I do think that queer relationships are more open than our hetero predecessors. I think that there's room for us to be able to chat with our partners about like who we think is attractive. And if you want to watch porn or if you want, like that it's not like
Yeah,
a bad thing to jack off if you're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I think there are so many different doors that are more open for us, which is a good thing because I think that kind of fucked up our parents' generation in them feeling so enclosed and a little claustrophobic with their options sexually. And so I think that's good regardless. I think that probably there's like a pendulum or like a spectrum here where like you could also go the complete opposite direction of our parents and be like, I don't want anything that is resembling a closed relationship or whatever. But I think that it's probably all about balance and like figuring out what works for your relationship.
yeah, I think so. I remember early days. I used to get so jealous of like Paul finding someone else attractive. I'd be like, "How dare you!"
Yeah, totally.
Whereas now I don't care. But
I mean, sometimes I still do care, depending upon like what the circumstances of it are. But like, are you mature enough to be able to like have a conversation or like just like check yourself a little bit? You know what I mean?
yeah, to be like, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep, Really quick, rapid fire. Are you attracted to all straight guys at the gym?
All as in every single one? Nah, nah. But
A
I
lot
would
of straight guys don't
definitely,
even take care of themselves.
obviously, I think I would lean more towards obviously straight conforming rather than like a femme male.
Interesting. I think we got to
But
unpack that in a future
I think,
podcast too.
yeah, I think so too. I think it's such an interesting topic because I'm like, why am I attracted to like a 45-year-old man when I'm like 26? Like,
Let's break it down. We'll do it.
like what? What the hell, man?
I dated some older men.
I
I don't
love
really
it.
know.
I
I
love
mean,
a daddy.
you love a daddy. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good for you.
Yeah.
I like that you know what you like.
Yeah, I really have a type. It's like what? Yeah,
Okay,
crazy.
okay. I liked our LGBTQ&A. Should we move on to our final segment here, our cool down for the week?
Yeah, weekly pulse
Okay,
check.
weekly pulse check. Here we go. This is when we're going to be chatting about our training that we're doing and maybe things that we're learning about, maybe putting into practice. So this is a little bit of like the nuts and bolts, how it all happens.
Yeah, debrief the next week ahead. Intention setting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good for us. It's good for us.
I think
We're
so.
being such adults. So what does your training look like this next week, or what was your training like this past week?
I'm off to Ibiza, baby. What?
So you're not going to do anything.
I'm just gonna. I'll probably just run. Just do some running on the beach and stuff. But no structured training, which is nice because training's pretty crazy right now. I've got 10 weeks till my next competition, and when the season starts, it's quite hard to get like a good block of training in because everything's like race. So you have to race, then you deload, then you race, then you train. So this kind of like 10-week window is like where the real differences are going to be made, and where
Yeah.
I can create like a really solid base of fitness and training and set up the season nicely. But I'm in a good position. But yeah, training's been pretty savage the last 2 weeks, and I don't know if you saw my story the other day, but I chafed my penis.
I don't know anyone who didn't see your story. I think everyone saw
Just
the
like check how many
story.
views it. See how
Yeah,
many views it
please.
got. 13,000 views.
Oh my god. Nature
Jesus.
made a solution to this. I'm just saying. We don't
Yeah,
need
but
a
that's some.
plastic cap.
Yeah, I don't have a human cap either.
I'm so sad for
It's
you.
very American, isn't it, to be circumcised?
Why yeah, so why is that?
Well, no one in the UK is really,
I
as
know.
far as I'm
I
aware.
know.
Like none of my friends are.
Yeah.
But mine was a medical. My penis was too big, so they had to cut the skin off. It was too tight. But I had mine done when I was a baby.
This is the first time I've ever said it. I'm uncircumcised, which is very odd for the US.
Woo!
And
We got news out of it.
I asked my mom why she didn't circumcise me. And I was in the car with her at the time, so I like couldn't get out. And she said, "I just couldn't bear to hurt you." And I was like, actually very sweet, you know,
It's caring.
very caring, very caring.
Why
Odd for the
is
US,
it
but-
is it a religion? Why are all Americans? Yeah, why are all Americans just cleanliness?
It's no, it definitely started with a religious thing. And I think that there's more of this sense from dads of being like, well, I want my son to look like me. I want his penis to look like mine. And so then like it's just been perpetuated for hundreds of years for no reason. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, like three of my friends have had circumcisions in the last like 2 years
As adults.
because their like foreskin's too tight. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And when
You
I
do-
put
I feel
that
like I do
story
hear about
up
that
about
happening.
my chafage, people
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, I had circumcision and I used this." So
I can
not the
imagine,
same situation, but-
especially when you get it done as an adult, that there would be a lot more chafing because it'd be so sensitive and it just wouldn't be good. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was great. So,
yeah,
what are you training for this week?
Mine's acclimatized.
Uh-huh.
Not
Or-
not a lot really, but I have a really cool. We got a pop up in one of the cities in the UK. We're setting up a pop up location for BTND, so we'll have
Yeah.
some clothes there. We'll do some cool wellness activations. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, the photos will look really nice, I think, coming out of that.
Yeah.
And we should hopefully
That'll be
make
great.
just have a nice kind of like sport and wellness presence at one of the Pride marches this year. Because
Cool.
there's not a lot of that. Like I went to Birmingham Pride and obviously saw London Pride as well, and there wasn't a massive sports fitness presence. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's quite a nice touch to be able to be there and be present.
Yeah, cool. And then what was your hardest workout that you did this week?
Oh God, I did an hour in the altitude chamber running,
On the bike or running?
which led
Okay.
to running, which led to a sweaty underwear reel that did pretty high numbers in views.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
All
great.
right.
That's great.
What are you training for at the moment? HYROX Boston, right?
Yeah, that'll be my next. I did a sprint try this past week. That was good. It was a bummer. There were two medical emergencies that both people are okay. I just found out last night, so that's good. But it did mean that like you're training for that, and then you don't really have a time. You don't really know exactly how it went. I think I got like probably 8 minutes better than my last one that I did 2 years ago. But that meant that I wasn't training at all this week, and I did my first workout back yesterday, and it killed me, just absolutely destroyed. So, yeah, HYROX Boston, middle of September. Signed up yesterday. Exciting. And my workout was 5 rounds of an 800-meter run, 30 air squats, 30 push-ups, 800-meter run, 30 walking lunges, 30 V-ups. Tried to maintain like about a 10-minute per round. It was good. It was good. When I got to the final rounds, I was pretty dead. My legs were dead. So it's good.
Yeah, that's nice. Might do that myself.
Yeah, you should try it out. But don't tell me what your time was because I'm going to be really depressed. What are we talking about next episode?
Oh, we can deep dive into our relationships a little bit.
Yeah.
And then probably go into more detail in the why. There was an article recently, wasn't there, about why aren't more gay athletes publicly out? So we can touch on,
I'm interested.
on their thoughts, and we'll put another Q&A box out potentially and ask for their opinions on why they think.
Yeah,
so.
What's the court of public opinion about whether or not
we'll
people should come out? You know?
We won't start that conversation now because we'll go on a tangent. But
yeah,
next
get a little spicy. Well, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, leave us a review for our podcast that we are just starting. The plan is for this to be probably bi-weekly, maybe weekly moving forward. And we're just going to play it by ear. We're going to listen to what y'all say you want to hear and keep on chatting about things that are important to us, but also spicy, fun, exciting topics about queer culture. It'll be great.
Yeah, hopefully we can answer and touch on those questions that people want to know. Deep dive into some fun topics and do it in a nice, authentic, organic way that's kind of breaking down some taboos.
Yeah, perfect. Also, we didn't say what the podcast was really named for. So do you want to jump into that really quick as our final send-off?
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Kind of clever, really. It's a bit of a pun. No, I think it's obviously out, leading to the gayness that is me and Sam, and then also like out of bounds being kind of the conversations that we're going to have, is being a little bit kind of pushing the boundaries of what people tend to talk about and breaking down those taboo topics, and hopefully kind of allowing people to just have some lighthearted, fun conversations, but also touch on some topics that we've all been through that kind of no one really talks about.
I mean, you're a little bit more outgoing than I am on our socials, but I feel like I generally keep like Instagram, TikTok, like that kind of thing, kind of tame. And I'm much crazier than I am on Instagram, like in real life. And so I feel like I'm really excited
Don't set this up. Don't set this up for being really bad.
What do you mean?
But yes, we're gonna have some fun with it. And
out of bounds.
Stay tuned.
The conversations that
out of bounds, baby.
We're all thinking about, So, and then our little tagline: "Not your average locker room talk." Really reclaiming the locker room talk. Okay. See ya. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
See you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.